हाय दोस्तों, तो आज हम उसी ऑडियो बुक की सीरीज़ को कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं। मैं वहीं से पढ़ूंगा जहाँ से मैंने छोड़ा था। तो मैं वीडियो शुरू करता हूँ। As he pulled into the driveway of number 4, the first thing he saw and it didn't improve his mood was tabby cat he spotted that morning. It was now sitting on his garden wall. He was sure it was the same one. It had the same markings around his eyes. Shoo! Said Mr. Dursley loudly. The cat didn't move. It just gave him a stern look. Was this a normal cat behavior? Mr. Dursley wondered, trying to pull himself together. He let himself into the house. He was still determined not to mention anything to his wife. Mrs. Dursley had a nice normal day. She told him over dinner all about the next door's problem with her daughter and how Dudley had learnt a new word, shunt. Mr. Dursley tried to act normally. When Dudley had been put to bed, he went to the living room in the time to catch the last report on the evening news. And finally, the bird watchers everywhere have reported that the nation's owl have been behaving very unusually today. Although owls normally hunt at night and are hardly seen in daylight, there have been hundreds of sightings of birds flying in every direction since sunrise. Experts are unable to explain why the owls have suddenly changed their sleeping pattern. The newsreaders allow himself a grin. Most mysterious, and now over to Jim McGiffin with the weather. Going to be any more shows of owls tonight, Jim? Well, Ted, said the weatherman, I don't know about that, but it's only the owls that have. It's not only the owls that have been acting oddly. Views as far apart as Kent, Yorkish and Dundee have been phoning in to tell me that instead of the rain I promised yesterday, they have had downpour of shooting stars. Perhaps people have been celebrating bonfire night early. It is not until next week, folks. But I can promise a wet night today. Mr. Dursley sat frozen in his armchair. Shooting stars all over Britain, owls flying by daylight, mysterious people in clocks all over the places, and a whisper about potters. Mrs. Dursley came into the living room carrying 2 cups of tea. It was no good. He would have to say something to her. He cleared his throat nervously. Petunia, dear, you haven't heard from your sister lately, have you? As he had expected, Mrs. Dursley looked shocked and angry. After all, they normally pretended she didn't have a sister. No, she said sharply. Why? Funny stuff on the news. Mr. Dursley mumbled, owls, shooting stars, and there were a lot of funny-looking people in town today. So, snapped Mrs. Dursley. Well, I just thought maybe it was something to do with, her lot. Mrs. Dursley slipped her tea through her purse. Mr. Dursley wondered whether he dared tell her he had heard the same name Potter. He decided he didn't dare. Instead, he said as casually as he could, "Dear son, he would be about Dudley's age now, wouldn't he?" I suppose so, said Mrs. Dursley stiffly. What's his name again? Howard, isn't it? Harry, nastily common name if you ask me. Oh, yes, said Mr. Dursley, his heart sinking horribly. Yes, I quite agree. He didn't say another word on the subject as he went upstairs to the bed. While Mrs. Dursley was in the bathroom, Mrs. Dursley was in bathroom. Mr. Dursley crept to the bedroom window and peeped down into the front garden. The cat was still there. It was staring down Privet Drive as though it was waiting for something. Uh, was he imagining things? Could all this have anything to do with Potters? If it did, if it got out that they were related to the pair of, well, he didn't think he could bear it. The Dursleys got into bed. Mrs. Dursley fell asleep quickly, but Mr. Dursley lay awake, turning it all over in his mind. His last comforting thought before he fell asleep was, even if the Potters were involved, there was no reason for them to come near him and Mrs. Dursley. The Potters knew very well what Petunia and he thought about them and their kind. He couldn't see how he and Petunia could get up mixed in anything that might be going on. He yawned and turned over. It couldn't affect them. How very wrong he was. Mr. Dursley might have been drifting into an uneasy sleep, but the cat on the wall outside was showing no sign of sleepiness. It was sitting still as a statue, its eyes fixed unblinkingly on the far corner of Privet Drive. It didn't so much squealed when a car door slammed in the next street, nor when the two also overhead. In fact, it was nearly midnight before the cat moved at all. A man appeared on the corner. The cat had been watching. Appeared so suddenly and silently, you would have thought he had just popped out of the ground. The cat's tail twitched and its eyes narrowed. Nothing like this man had ever been seen in Privet Drive. Uh, he He was tall, thin, and very old, judging by a silver of his hair and beard, which were both long enough to tuck into his belt. He was wearing long robes. Okay. A purple cloak which swept the ground and high-heeled buckle boots. His blue eyes were light bright and sparkling behind his half-moon spectacles, and his nose was very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. The man's name was Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore didn't seem to realize that he had just arrived in a street where everything from his name to his boots was unwelcome. He was busy rummaging in his cloak looking for something. But he didn't seem to realize he was being watched, because he looked up suddenly at the cat, which was still staring at him from the other end of the street. For some reason, the sight of the cat seemed to amuse him. He chuckled and muttered, "I should have known." He had found what he was looking for inside his pocket. It seemed to be a silver cigarette lighter. He flicked it open, held it up in the air, and clicked it. The nearest street lamp went with a little pop. He clicked again. The next lamp flickered into darkness. 12 times he clicked the put outer until the only lights left in the whole street were two tiny pinpricks in the distance, which were the eyes of the cat watching him. If anyone looked out of their window now, even beady-eyed Mrs. Dursley, they wouldn't be able to see anything that was happening down on the pavement. Dumbledore slipped the put-outer back into his cloak and set off the street towards number 4, where he sat down on the wall next to the cat. He didn't look at it, but after a moment he spoke to it. "Fancy seeing you here, Professor McGonagall." He turned to smile at the tabby cat, but it had gone. Instead, he was smiling at a rather serve-looking woman who was wearing square glasses, exactly the shape of the markings the cat had around its eyes. She too was wearing a cloak, an emerald one. Her black hair was drawn into a tight bun. She looked distinctly ruffled. How did you know it was me? She asked. My dear professor, I have never seen a cat sit so stiffly. You would be stiff if uh, you had been sitting on a brick wall all the day, said Professor McGonagall. All the day? When do you could have been celebrating? I must have passed a dozen of feasts and parties on my way here. Professor McGonagall sniffed angrily. Oh, yes, everyone's celebrating. All right, she said impatiently. You had think they would be a bit more careful, but no. Even the Mughals have noticed something's going on. It was on the news. She jerked at her back at the Dursleys' dark living room. I heard it. Fogs of owl, shooting stars. Well, they are not completely stupid. They were bound to notice something. Shooting stars down in the cat. I will bet that was Dilius Digley. He had never much sense. तो दोस्तों मैं इस वीडियो को यहीं एंड करूँगा क्योंकि हमारे 5 पेजेस हो चुके हैं और हम हर ऑडियो बुक में 5 पेजेस करते हैं, पर आज के केस में हमने थोड़ा सा आगे किया क्योंकि मैंने पैराग्राफ को पूरा करना था, नहीं तो कोई सेंस नहीं करनी थी। तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय।